Welcome to the Book Report, hosted by Tyler Booker, T-Book, University of Alabama, All-SEC, All-America candidate. I'm AP Stedham, multimedia personality from LA, Lower Alabama. T-Book, New Haven in the house.
How we doing, AP?
Doing good, T-Book, doing good, man. Y'all had a trip up to Music City. There's plenty of music. A little bit disappointing on the score, but how was your weekend? What are some of your thoughts and observations about the competition against Vanderbilt?
Yeah, we went to Music City, but we were listening to the blues on the way back. So
I hear you, man. I hear you. It happens. It happens.
No, yeah, it's a part of the game of football. You just have to be able to learn from it and move on. So that was a very good Vanderbilt team, and they just made more plays than we did at the end of the day. And the great part about football is we have another opportunity to right all of our wrongs this coming Saturday.
Right. I think in this day and age, T-Book, with the 12-team playoff, you're still in contention, as a number of teams that were upset this weekend. So you still have many of your goals ahead of you, and you can reach those if you keep on winning.
For sure, and that was the most encouraging thing about this past weekend. Like, we're able to see some of our flaws as a team, but it's not gonna hurt us when it comes to the end. Like, as if we were in the, I believe it was the BCS era, where you lose one game and you're pretty much out of it.
Two teams.
You pretty much have to go undefeated in order to have a shot at the national championship. So thankfully, we're in the era of the 12-team playoff, and there's a little bit more wiggle room. But our intention every weekend is to go out and come out victorious, and we fell short of that this weekend. But we're doing everything in our power now to prevent that from happening this coming weekend.
Yeah, I think that's one of the changes fans embrace. Some of the other ones maybe not so much, but everybody around the country is embracing 12 teams. My team is still in it. We still have a possibility. For sure. T-Book, what was the message from Coach DeBoer maybe after the game? He had some time to reflect, maybe yesterday. What were some of the things that were said and moving forward and about the game?
That we have a lot of football left. Like, that was only our fifth game, and what people fail to realize is that this is our fifth game with everybody together. This is the fifth game with Coach DeBoer as our head coach, Coach Sheridan as our offensive coordinator, Coach Womack as our defensive coordinator. So we're still all in the process of getting to know each other and really become one as a program. While we have had a lot of experience during the spring, preseason to fall camp, there's no substitute for game time experience and game time reps with our coaches. So the more games that we go through, the better that will be. And something that Coach DeBoer says all the time is, like, our next game should be our best. Our last game should be our worst game. Our first game should be our worst game. And our next game should be our best game. And the game after that should be our best game. So we just have to continually get better week by week.
Right. You're around many players that competed on championship teams in high school and at Alabama, won a lot of games. So I think it's probably unpleasant at the moment, but in a good way.
Yes, definitely. Nobody likes to lose. Actually, we hate to lose here at the University of Alabama, and that's something that's very, very encouraging, because we're all on the same page. Like, losing is not an option. That's not something that we do here. So knowing that we fell short of that, we're going to do everything in our power to avoid this feeling that we have right now again. And the best way to do that is to go out and have a great practice tomorrow morning.
Did you get a chance to watch the game, T-Book, on replay? Is that something that you try to do every week?
I do it. I do it in some of the tough ones, some of the closer ones, because I'm actually after a win, I watch just the offensive reps. Then I start taking a peek at the team we're playing next. But this one, I watched the entire game just to see where we went wrong as a team and what I could have done better as a player, but even more as a leader. Like, what more could I have done? And just really self-analyzing before I ever point the finger, because you never want to point the finger. Everybody Everybody on our team gave everything that they had. Everybody on this team fought. And that's one thing that you'll never be able to say about the University of Alabama. This team, like you'll never be able to turn on the tape and see, okay, this guy wasn't fighting right here. This guy had no fight in him right here. Like, we're a team full of fighters, and we've been fighting since the day Coach Saban retired. We've been fighting to keep this team together. Now we're fighting for a national championship. So we're a team full of fighters, and week by week, we just got to continue to prove that and do what we do best, and that's fight.
You have two huge responsibilities, individually as a player and as a person, but you're also a captain. So did you have to collect yourself before you wanted to really approach your team and give your thoughts?
I definitely had to, and I knew that people were going to be looking to me in the way that I reacted. So I made sure that I was collected. I had myself collected prior to going into the locker room and making sure I was there for my teammates. And I just told all my teammates to, like, hey, like dap your brother up and tell him you love him. Like, this is a point in time where we need to stay together. We can't disband and start pointing a finger. We got like tell your brother you love him, and we're gonna fix this. We're gonna get everything right. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna prove to everyone why we are who we say we are.
Sometimes, T-Book, the fans, they anticipate that the team will have a letdown after a tremendous victory like Georgia. Do you think that happened? Do you think that creeped in this week before you played Vanderbilt last week?
I feel like we did a great job of putting the Georgia game away. We went to this game, and they presented Vanderbilt presented a lot of different things that our defense hasn't seen before. So that's something our defense had to adjust to, and that they also limited our possession. So they had a really great scheme going into the game, and I just feel like we have to, like in games like those, you have to execute on every single opportunity that you get as an offense and as a defense. So something that we could do better as an offense. We had the ball 9 times. We expect to score 9 times. We only scored 5 out of those 9 times. So that's where we have to be better as an offense. And I'm not in on the defense, but they definitely have things that they can improve upon too. But we would have, I'll be telling you the same thing that we can improve whether we were coming off of a win or like we are talking now after a loss. Like, there's always going to be room for improvement. And that's what separates the good teams from the great teams, how they continue to improve during the good and bad times.
T-Book, there was some disparity in the minutes of possession, about 40-plus minutes. Y'all had it about 18 minutes, but you put 35 points on the board. When you're an offensive lineman, you're sitting on the bench for quite a while. What do you try to do to make sure your body's ready, your mind's ready to get into the ball game?
Well, every now and then, I don't like sitting for too long. Like, I'm always getting up, moving, might get on a bike for a little bit. But As far as my mind goes, my coach does a great job of making sure that we're locked into what we have to do as an offense. Like, yeah, it's easy to sit back and watch the game after we talk about what we have to talk about. But Coach Cat does a great job of keeping us on the bench. We actually have iPads on the sideline now too, so we were able to watch and analyze things that were going on during the game and make corrections during the game. And that's been a big help for us as an offensive line. So we were sitting there getting coached up while the defense was on the field, and that helped us a lot. It helped us go out there and score points.
Yeah, that's got to be a tremendous difference. I mean, maybe you're playing in high school. They didn't have those iPads on the sideline. Now you have them in college.
We actually did at IMG. So I was used. So it was actually a transition for me because this is the first year that they're allowing iPads in college.
Right.
So going from having iPads in high school to not having them in college, that was a little bit different. You just had to rely on your memory. But now we have the iPads, and that's a big help. We're able to focus on getting better on the time that we have on the sideline.
What's the biggest thing for you when you're looking at the iPad? What have you learned about yourself, how you can adjust quickly that day of the game, in the middle of the game?
I'll try not to make too big of adjustments, because if I try to overcorrect some things, it could distract me from the task at hand. So I have to make sure that I'm really, really more focused on what they're doing in their scheme. But if I'm doing something egregious, like I'm playing too high or my hands are too wide, that's something I can fix right then and there. But I'm not going to overhaul my technique.
Right, for sure.
On the sideline during the game.
Right. Just looking ahead, you're playing South Carolina this week. They have a couple of good edge rushers, and they play hard. And Coach Beamer, he's known for the special teams, and they put forth a tremendous effort against LSU and a defeat at home. But there can be a tough team. They beat Kentucky. They overwhelmed them on the road in Lexington, one of the first ball games. So what have you seen from South Carolina and some of the film?
South Carolina is definitely going to be one of the best defensive fronts we play all season. from exteriorly with the edges and interiorly with their three techniques and their noses. They can all pass rush, and that's something that we have to be prepared for this week. You have to be prepared to give Jalen the amount of time that he needs, because they also have some pretty good defensive backs. So we, as an offensive line, we just have to make sure we do our job of communicating and winning our one-on-one battle.
Hey, T-Book, I want to ask you this question. It's kind of a funny question. You change shoes every game with the same pair of shoes? You don't wear those during the week at all, T-Book?
See, I used to do that when I was younger, and I'd have a pair of practice cleats, then I have a pair of game cleats.
Right.
But you know, at Alabama, we wear the all black cleats, so there's no point in having a game pair. So the same pair of cleats I wear during practice are the same ones I wear for the game, and that's just because they get broken in. They get real comfortable. They get like kind of molded to your foot. Like I love my cleats, and I'll wear these for the entire season until they literally start to fall apart, which I did last year. Like they started to come apart a little bit. I still wore them past that.
Still wore. You have to polish them up and make them look good for the ball game.
Oh, for sure. Our equipment team does a great job of that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, what's going on outside the world of football for you off the field?
I'm just enjoying school. You know, I'm a few months away from graduating my psychology, a degree in psychology. So I'm very excited to graduate. And I've just been enjoying time with my family. So my mom, my sister, my godmom, my god sisters are coming to the game this week. So I'm very excited to have them in town. It's going to be some of their first time in Tuscaloosa catching an Alabama football game. So it's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, what's been the reaction? Sometime you bring some relatives or friends down from New Haven, first time they're on campus, and then at a ball game, a real ball game.
They always tell me they never expected it to be this crazy. Like it gets real crazy, and it's very different from what we're used to up in Connecticut. Just because they're the closest thing that you could compare to an Alabama football game to somebody from Connecticut is maybe a UConn game, but even then that doesn't compare because there's about 80,000 more people.
Right, for sure. Hey, hopefully they have some good weather this weekend. T-Book, why don't you let everybody know about your multifaceted website they can check out and look at your merchandise and learn about you as well?
Hey, yeah, I recommend that everybody goes and checks out www.IamTylerBooker.com. You'll be able to find out more about me, who I am as a person and a man and an athlete. And also you'll be able to purchase some of my merchandise. So y'all go check that out.
Yeah, we usually have it scrolling on the ticker below, but one more time, T-Book, the address.
www.IamTylerBooker.com.
Okay, and we're going to have a shorter show this week, but we want everybody to check out on the YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel, AP Stedham, the segments. So we put them up every Tuesday, and you can watch them and tell your friends about it, subscribe, and we always enjoy being with T-Book. New Haven in the house.
New Haven in the house. Appreciate you, AP.
Thank you, T-Book. Go ahead.
Talk to you next week and roll tide.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good game now. Bye-bye now.